Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Magic Arena Run. Today it's Midweek Magic, and as usual we always get a Brawl Builder challenge where we have to try out something from their most recent set. And actually I was thinking of doing one of the usual creature type ones. Well, I ended up doing a sort of creature type one here, but this one is kind of more into life gain. So we are we are doing Bre of Clan Stoutarm, we are doing Angels. And the reason around this is pretty much the triggered ability. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, exile cards from the top until you exile non-land card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. If the spell's mana value is less than or equal to the life you gain this turn, otherwise put it in your hand. So it's a good way to get through unnecessary lands. You're pretty much drawing an extra card each turn, and sometimes casting it for free. So that said, we have a lot of we're pretty much into the life gain package, but we're also running an angel package as well here. The red is mostly for removal. That's pretty much how we lined it up. So this is a mostly white deck in that sense. And let's see, is there anything notable? Not so much. We are running a few notable alchemy cards, but if we run into them, we'll see them. Otherwise, link is in the description. I'll be honest, I barely got any testing on this, mostly because the games ended too early. I think I ran into opponents that had very loose keeps. So this is a case where you want some early removal, early plays. So this one is very good for us. I probably should just run the Inspiring Pantheon. There's no reason to. In other words, our removals, most of our removals can have some life gain attached to it. Otherwise, it's just going to be quite effective at what it does. So definitely want to run this next turn. There's Ward 2, so not punching through that anytime soon. So we'll see how big this gets before we have to nuke it. So we're gonna take 3. That's a given here. Yeah, Ward kind of messes things up for us. Now, likewise, we could just play. We start at 20. We're gonna go down to 22. This will bring us up to 24. So realistically, I might, because I'm sure our opponent's just gonna dump a lot of creatures from their hand here. I should at least try to stem the bleeding this way. You may play a land from your graveyard or cast a permanent spell, so trying to check if you do it gains when this permanent is put into the graveyard, you exile it, so no chance of getting it back. But it looks like our opponent's otherwise kind of stuck here, so I think we're fine in that sense. Do I want to give our opponent a card? Not really. I'm just gonna play. Okay, that's done. Goes into hand. The next turn I can pretty much run out Vitality. Either Pridemate Vitality. Opponent kind of not exactly stuck on mana because they have a Bridget. They do have a lot of mana right now. So this is probably the real test. Also note that Bre herself does. Oh, opponent is going to go wide for sure. Other tap legendary creatures you control have indestructible. So our opponent is running an all legend deck. So we may have to, and this is a 5/5, so this is not gonna hit. Yeah, so it looks like our opponent had to no, our opponent has a very good idea here. Just go for the all. Some Kitkins go for all legends. We had a very slow start. Oh yeah, they're definitely going for the legend package. All of a sudden, this would have been a lot more important. We do have artifact removal, barely, and let's do a check. Other tap, and it has to be tapped. So okay, we have a window of opportunity at least. And thankfully, this is instant. So, but probably not a good idea go after Bridget. I might have enduring innocence. So this will never be indestructible. But yeah, opponent's gonna overwhelm us with mana here. We really need a good out here. This is not it. I probably have to use this one. What reason that is one mana? So at the beginning of combat, this okay. So our creature, opponent's creature's gonna get really big here. Yeah, I guess I should have held up this one here. Opponent is doing a lot more. Opponent's doing a lot more convoking than actual. Yeah, I guess this might be kind of over for us already. We'll see if we have. Yeah, also because our deck list doesn't quite have that much. I'm willing to take. I do have to take the 18 for now. I guess I could. Well, Shock Block does not much good. I actually would rather just swing with this to gain life. Okay, so we do. Yeah, we don't really have much in 8, 9. Yeah, we and the other issues that we do end up having a lot of duds here. Yeah, so our opponent got a really good start. We needed to have removal early, and I think we kind of blew the removal early on that one. We should have targeted Bridget. So at least we're learning from that mistake. Our removal is quite limited, so we have to be circumspect on where we target it. It also means that we do need to have and I guess that is how we dealt. That's how we dealt with the previous version of that one. Pretty much have a lot of early removal to answer their stuff. So opponent running Harlot Ascendant. Okay, this is early seer. We can set up the Beza next turn. Actually, I'll run the Ocelot Pride first because this will force our opponent to have at least a creature, and we can hold up. We can hold up removal in. Though, yeah, at most we're only gonna just draw a card here. If we'll enter tap, that's a given. I can cast Seer to nuke this one. But I have to remember that if I do one, I won't be able to do the other. So let's swing first. There's no way they're gonna trade for the cat. That's a given. So probably just play Bre right then and there. Okay, so we draw to the Essence Channeler. We do lose the 2 lands, but I think at 5 mana we can sit comfortably on this one. That's a case of does our opponent run this out right away? In that case, I just swing with 3. Though another target creature you control has flying and lifelink. Okay, Llanowar Eyes. Let's see if I make a mistake by made the mistake by allowing our opponent to get this much mana. Also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're 1 permanent short of if our opponent goes for the removal, that's really kind of fine too. Decline the removal of perpetual effects, that stays. So right. Gonna hit Morrowind because we're not gonna be able. If they have a way to protect it, that's on them. And no, there we go. Also, Pride just wins. I think it's more of our opponent having. Yeah, the importance of all the early removal is quite there. We need to emphasize a lot on early removal. I would not be surprised if I adjust this deck to remove some of the life gain package in favor of in favor of more removal effects. And there's quite a lot that are available that I did not include. Chain Lightning would be a good example. Would be a good one. Even if 1 mana 3 damage sorcery speed, that's fine. Torch the Tower, probably okay as well. That said, I don't know how much is too much, so we'll find that out together. Looks like Maryland's gonna. Well, Maryland does hit spells from the opponent's deck for free, so it is quite popular. So probably I would ideally want to do a Pride Mate into. I ideally want to do Pride Mate into Sacred Flame. That's fine. Okay, if I can hit an untapped mana, no, I did not. have more ways of getting white. So let's see. If this hits, just removes up to 3 counters, just sets this back. That's fine. I could play the... because next turn I would have this available. Yeah, because our opponent is into card draw. Allion, okay, name. So let's see what number they name. They name 3, which would be for, which would hit Heartfire Duelist. So we will take. They might actually just go for the counters removal instead. No, they're just still going for the draw card use life. Yep, we need. Unfortunately, our opponents, yeah, we're the ones who need the lands now, and we're not hitting it. So this might be a lost game for us if we cannot hit the 4th. Maryland Bay, they have 2, and they're able to cast Mephites. Yeah, we can concede this one. We just got stalled on lands when our opponent did not. Our opponent playing all basics. That is also a strange thing, but good for them. It managed to line up perfectly for them, and this is why I'm okay with Brawl, but I do not like the idea of ranked Brawl. The moment this becomes ranked, many people are gonna be so unhappy. So this one, I have to take the free mulligan. We need at least, oh come on, really? Okay, I am forced to take this one. This is honestly quite tough. So Thunder Magic's probably gonna, okay, yeah, we can drop Heliod Sundown. Ideally, I want to be naming Angel with this, but human is also kind of valid. Human is also valid for us here. We have quite a few humans as well, and being able to start out with this, if our opponent is not able to have the turn 1 play. Oh, it's Heir Apparent. The Seer would probably ruin their day. They could also just play this one, though we are able to hit Planeswalkers. So in that case, I might end up just... Oh no, they're going white? So I am gonna offer this. Shame we're not gonna... Deals 4 damage to target tap creature, so that's exactly what they're waiting for us to do. I probably will set this to... I'll probably have this go to 5 life. Try to gain 1 more life.
My ally stands strong.
Yeah, because next turn they can just recast it and nuke it. they might go after Essence Channeler, which is kind of okay. They have to go after Essence Channeler because there's an onboard trick, but the flip side is they might have a trick in return.
Your schemes are finished.
See if they have the removal for that. They probably still have the removal for this. I would be surprised if they didn't. In which case, I'm hoping for just Heir Apparent. Probably into another Heir Apparent, or not. Ooh, this is gonna be super annoying for our opponent. Let's do it. This will whatever removal our opponent has, it's definitely gonna go on. It's definitely gonna go on Linvala at this point. I think our opponent does have removal. Yeah, they did. So, makes sense. Though thankfully, Ajani's not gonna... Well, they could. But okay, they're not going that route.
Thank you for your aid.
Anthem effect. Probably hit this for 3. That's 3, 6, 6. So I have 2 choices. I could try to gain life this way. 7. 10. They should know that there is a trap somewhere. No, they're going for it. They're going for it? They went for it. So,
Your size belies
Heir Apparent, but it's kind of set back again. It's plus X plus 0, so... And an Arcane Signet. Okay, opponent is officially blanked out. And it's perfect for us here. Because it disallowed +1s, it's going to take a while. Also, I'm okay with giving up the Cat Collector at this point. Yeah, it's really not looking good for our opponent here. They might try to hold back, but in which case, we have to remember Stoutarm starts going up in the air. Let's see. Angel of Finality, I'm okay with that. Our opponent might have a return to the past, so this would be a good one. Unfortunately, well, they're only hitting Heir Apparent here, so that's going to be a bit of a no. I could just hit this, but Yeah, they're probably just gonna go after the cat collector. They don't want me making any more tokens.
Stay down.
Yeah, it's interesting for a cat to say that. Okay, I thought my mouse almost died and I would need to replace the battery right then and there. Also, we're thankful that it's flying and lifelink, but it doesn't nuke the other creature. Yeah, I'm probably gonna just snipe the Johnny at that point just to make sure that if they do go for that one, it would take up their entire turn. Alternately, I could have just gone after the life points instead, making my angel pretty much lethal at that point. That would have been my other option there. Okay, this is yeah, I really need to have my mana. Okay, this is much better. We can Vantage for Ascendant. Play this as tapped, I guess, or otherwise just name Angel here. If I need to do burn, that's how I would do it. I am starting to see that there might be a weakness in my build. If Maryland is this popular, I might want to go after more. Might want to go after decks that removal spells that can hit 5. Most of the ones I have are cheap, but they only hit 4. It's pretty much good for early game. Okay, more mana is good. Not gonna get to 30 anytime soon with this, but the enthusiasm might get me closer. Also, opponent seems to be stuck at green. Next turn I could play this just to draw the 1, but I probably would want to play this instead. They might also just have removal for the Ascendant, which is fine. Not, no, it's just loot. They definitely will get black mana at this point. Oh yeah, this is sorcery speed. I keep forgetting. So I would definitely have to nuke loot first. They might just go for Maryland right away. In which case we're at a bit of an impasse. I could just play Bre at that point. Yeah, no point playing Aurelia. You would think that 4/4 flying. Ooh, opponent's willing to go out of their way to exile that. Okay. So let's do a check. I need to have 3 or more creatures, so probably gonna just play Bre here. I did not gain life, that's fine. So this sets me up for, like, say, unfortunately this is a 5-drop, so I won't be able to. I could use some more haste creatures now that I think of it. If our opponent's just gonna go for, nope, they're going for Marilyn. That makes sense. And then what did they miss out? Okay, they whiffed on those. They're not gonna cast those ever. So this is where it gets interesting. If our opponent plays another fairy, I could snipe it in response to limit our opponent to 1 mana spells. It doesn't solve the Marilyn problem, but nothing really is going to solve the Marilyn. Maelstrom Pulse, that is. So we get set back on that end. Now, thankfully, Authority of the Consuls helps us slow our opponent down. Now, it doesn't really combo with Bre because it only checks on our end step. It's very unlikely our opponent's going to play a creature then. But it does give us an open board for the most part, so I think we're okay with that. Okay. Now I could swing with these two, but yeah. Oh wait, I could just hold back. I'm surprised. I'm quite interested to see why they went for this and not to destroy target creature with flying. Marwin. Yeah, this was the original plan. If one is gonna take 2 of my cards. Ooh, they did hit the lightning bolt. They can still cast that. Probably nuke Resplendent Angel in the process. But it does deny them the Seer, which is probably quite important. Yeah, the Greeter, so this one they get to take another. Oh, now they. Oh, but. Okay, so they're not able to cast. This puts in. Oh, I could have swung with this too. Okay, they should read this carefully. Yeah, they read it. They read it carefully. Though, yeah, I could have swung. I could have just swung with both. Force our opponent to give up Marilyn, and I probably would have been better off that way. Varys, so they hit the Claim Jumper. Well, Speaker of the Heavens, they can cast. long time since I last saw anyone venture into a dungeon, so this is gonna be interesting. Anyone like okay. So we're definitely sniping speaker here. They might have no protection. I figured as much. But they could still have removal for this next turn, which would set us back quite a bit. But at least I don't have to worry about Maryland threat. At least for this turn. Dark Ritual, barring a Dark Ritual, I guess. Execute. Hey, where did they go next? Scry 1. I meant they actually went for the... Well, I guess they're probably going for Twisted Caverns. Target creature can't attack until your next turn. Now, in this case, I am actually gonna pass. If they want to make target creature not attack, that's fine. They have... So they could exile this, set me back again. So yeah, that's an forced take action, so they don't read. It's a big setback. Yeah, we're really flooding out quite a bit. Can't attack with this anyway, so we'll replay this. Though this is actually looking really bad for us. You're probably wondering why they can't cast. Well, it's big. Great bench. So they're trying to rebuild their life total. Makes sense. So they're gonna try to hit an elf. Keep going forward. That just gets Netsima Stride 2. What do I want to hit? Well, for one thing, I definitely want to give this lifelink if I can. I could swing with this also. Give them, though it's not big enough. I could kind of combo it with... Okay, I don't have to combo it that much anymore. I could also swing with this just to entice them to snipe something. Also, need to pay attention. Destroy 3 life. Not so much. So that food token. Yeah, I might as well just max it out now. They might still have a removal spell on hold, but now I did give them the opportunity to get something back, though their targets are kind of well. No, they could get one of these back, I guess. They might want to block with both. Somehow they. Oh no, they're just gonna get Varys back. And what's this other trigger? Another creature dies, you may exile it. You probably don't want to do that. Oh wait, no, you might want to do that if you want to get the triggered activated abilities, but I think you're. Oh, you could do that to get the trigger ability in this one. That would have. Well, they might have had another way of getting things back. Besa will net as a card. Nice to get that one out of the way. So opponent probably forced to cast. Probably forced to cast Marilyn. Unless they could recast Varys instead, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sure, that's a lot of mana, but how are you blocking up top? Do you have removal? And it's non-token, so they only gain for this one. Okay, do they have 1 mana reach? Guess not. Now they might have a 1 mana bounce spell. That is quite a possibility. But I am going to swing with this and Beza so I can. Yeah, I guess I'm good. They probably have some. No, do they? Or don't they? I guess not. We'll take it. Woo! Quite exact, in fact. Well, yeah, I was really concerned about that 1 mana, but I figured as much. Our opponent was. This is gonna be an issue you really want to. In fairness, our opponent did run a lot of 1, 2, 3. And in fairness, we're also not running that much either. So, yeah. So it's really going to become a battle of that. Anyway, that's going to probably be it for this episode of Magic Arena Run. This one was an interest. I would say this one was quite interesting. We are going to see a lot of Maryland decks That is how it is. But so probably build accordingly. Maybe maybe add more 5 toughness removal, or probably add some proper board wipes. I did not exactly add those. I'm so okay. Sorry for so for example, I added where where was that one? Okay, so for example, I added Solar Blaze because I figured I'd have enough lifelink creatures that this would benefit me quite a bit. Seeing how much Maryland is there, I would probably want to just add more regular Day of Judgments. Fair, Day of Judgments, Farewell would be nice also. Also, speaking of which, since we're looking at the 5 damage mark, we're pretty much looking at, well, a slight dragon build would be interesting. Osseous Exhale. A lot of these cards will become more relevant. Let's see. No, this is a 5/5. White has quite a few of those, so that's an option. Twin Maw Stormbrood would also be except it's target creature without flying, so that's a whiff for us there. Harmonize, no. Invasive, we would need to control a spacecraft, that's something to keep in mind. Rose does not work because it's without flying. Royal Eruption's kind of expensive. Fry works because Maryland is blue. As is Lithomatic Barrage, so you might want to pre-board these. And I would say if blue is not that popular, white is kind of popular, so that is also another option. I would be willing to risk 2 dead cards for that. Let's see. Burn down the house. Yeah, this would be the other board wipe of choice. And there are a bunch that require you to sacrifice, like say a Final Flare. Fight with Fire is okay. Annihilation is okay. Yeah, but we're approaching the 3 mana. We're approaching the 3 mana range already, so not so great. Scorching Shot probably okay. But you get in mind that is probably why Maryland's quite valuable. A lot of the things that deal 5 damage are pretty expensive or require a lot of hoops to jump in. If you're doing the Lessons deck, Reckless Blaze would be an interesting fit as well. But there we go. That's going to be it for this episode, Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications. And check out everything out. As always, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone.